We are midway into 2024 already, and we've just got 6 more months to end this year. In today's video, I want to talk about my goals for 2024, what I had set them at the beginning of the year, what I have achieved so far, what is left, what worked, what didn't work. Essentially, this video is going to be a review, a mid-year review essentially, and a reset for that plan to make sure I get at least some of the major ones done by the end of this year. Before I start this video, I want to tell you, having a New Year resolution or a New Year goal, it isn't mandatory really. I have never had specific, measurable, that smart kind of goals at all. I just have loose goals or loose topics around which I want to achieve something. And what I need to achieve, I kind of plan as the year goes by. Doing a mid-year reset helps you review what you had planned and what life has offered for you, whether you can integrate them together or whether you need to prioritize one and let go of another one, or is there a way to take them all together. I've structured this video based on the goals that I've made, so I think it's in 5 main categories and you would be able to see them on the timeline, so you can navigate between each of the categories of goals. And in each of the categories, I talk about what my goals were, what I have done so far, what I have not achieved so far, what worked, what didn't work, and what is my way forward. So let's get into the goals. Before I do that, I want to acknowledge 2 people. One, Ali Abdal, based on whose video on the Wheel of Life did I structure my goals. And second, Struthless, based on whose mid-year review plan did I carry my own audit. I'll leave the link to those videos in the description box and somewhere above here so you can check them out. Now let's get into the video. This video is going to be slightly longer than the usual kind of videos, but I'll try to keep it within 25 minutes. If it's possible for me to shrink 6 months of my life into 30 minutes, but let's start with that. I've got my notes here, so I might be looking down to see my notes. So the first category is for my career, and what I had set myself was level up. To give you a context, because I know several people ask in the comment what I do for my day job, I work as an engineer in the energy utility, and I've been in this career for 14 years now. I recently moved to the UK and it has been 1.5 years in the new organization. So I had set myself a goal to level up in the role that I'm in currently. And the main 2 targets that I had within this goal was to network, and then second one, to have more confidence through self-development. Now, looking at what I exactly did under these 2 categories, for self-development, I signed up for a mentor. So I signed up for a 6 months mentorship program. I got a mentor who personally went through my career history, what I want to do in the next 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, long-term goal, and how I need to structure my approach, what skills I have and what are the skill gaps, and then how do I fill those gaps. It was an extensive program and I really benefited a lot from that. The second thing I did was to sign up for a self-development program. It's called a Springboard, and I think it's like a worldwide global sort of thing that's offered to many companies. So I signed up for that, and that program really helps you gain traction of your life, take control, and achieve what you really want to achieve. So it had several topics covering goal setting, work-life balance, being assertive. It was really resourceful, and I think that's exactly what I needed at this point in life. The second aspect was to network, and for that what I did was I categorized the networking into different categories. So one was getting myself out there within my smaller team, the second one within my organization, and the third one outside of my organization. And I took up all the opportunities that I had to do all of these 3. So within my team, I've signed up to be an employee voice, and I've also signed up to be part of employee resource group within the organization, so I can know people outside of my team. And I also signed up to be part of the technical teams and technical event organizations team outside of my organization, so I get to network with people outside of my organization. So that's essentially what I did exactly. What I didn't do yet is something called as chartership. So that's more like a professional registration that gives you authentication for the experience that you've had. So that's something I decided to apply for last year, and I think it's been in the backseat for quite some time because it really requires me to expand on my CV in several different aspects, matching to several competencies. It is something I should have been doing actively, but I haven't. So that's something I need to focus on for the rest of the year. And looking at what I have done right in this particular category, I think I was focused and I like it. I've set my sub targets very clearly. I've had the path. I achieved all of them, and I also have the target set for the rest of the year, which is gaining chartership. And all I need to do now is to put a timeline and sub targets for that, because getting chartership is like a really broad arena. I've already blocked time in my calendar, but I tend to ignore it when some other work comes up. But I want to focus and give that the priority, do something at least in that 1 hour that I've allocated. So the way forward for me right here is to put a timeline in the next 6 months, how I can achieve that. That's going to be my high priority work at the moment. As a conclusion, I haven't really progressed, and I don't see myself progressing by the end of the year, because progression is based on vacancy, based on interviews. So that's something which is not in my control really, but I think I've done significant work in the way up to being eligible and being confident enough to take up an opportunity of progression when it comes. So I'm really happy with where I am with my career and the goals that I set for my career. The next category I have is family and relationship. And I had a very optimistic plan for this one. The goal that I set to myself was to have more intimate and meaningful time spent with my family. And I think I didn't plan as much as I did for my career, and I planned some events here and there, but none of them were cohesive. So what I exactly did was to set up a Friday night for our family. We had this lottery system where all of us would write our ideas for Friday night, put it in a bin, and then pick up one idea every Friday and then execute that. That's something we set up for our family. It was fun to do several different activities on Fridays. It really helped us engage in family only time every Friday evening. The second thing we did was to have coffee dates with Joes, just myself and Joes, because Grace has some clubs where she needs to be in for a little more than an hour, and that's a time we could use every week to just catch up on life over a cup of coffee or walks, etc. So that's something I like. And I even tried out mother-daughter date, and it was really fun. Just one whole day of saying yes to everything she wanted, and I think even she liked it so much. So that's something we did in the first 6 months, and what I want to do in the next 6 months is to just continue the very same in a better way. What went well was that all of these ideas were really good. It helped us spend time with ourselves, but what really did not work was the fact that all of these were last minute planned. So when I said the Friday nights, we were picking the ideas on Thursday, and it was really less time to execute that on a Friday. So we ended up repeating much of the things on Friday. Like, I think we did most of the Fridays as movie nights, and we weren't really planned up for what movie we wanted to watch. So I think that's something that I want to improve on. Probably do a pre-planning, a list of what movies, a list of what kind of food can be put in the freezer so we can have those impromptu nights, and also think of some other ideas apart from just movie nights. Another one I want to improve upon is the coffee dates. There have been times when there's a bit of miscommunication between who's going to pick up Grace and who's going to drop Grace for the clubs, because of which we kind of missed some of the dates. So that's something I want to pre-plan ahead and put in our calendar, that this month, at least 2 weeks, we are going on for dates. So something I need to keep as a top priority instead of moving and shifting across based on how things turn up on a Wednesday or Monday. That's something I want to concentrate on. I think we are in a good place when it comes to this goal. Since this is the first time I'm doing something of this sort, I'm happy with the way this has turned out, even though it's a bit disorganized for my liking. But going forward in the next 6 months, I want to set up a system so that we we get used to this as a habit and we don't miss out on these dates, the mother-daughter date and me and Joe's date and the family times. I want to continue that and put them into some sort of a system. That's my plan for the next 6 months. The next interesting categories is hobbies and self-care. And looking at what I had at the beginning of 2024, I wanted to relaunch my website and then restart this YouTube channel. So let me talk about my website. I've talked about this in my earlier video. I'll link it up here, where I kind of described what I did for my website and the background about that. I wanted to rebrand it. So what I did in the last 6 months was I approached several developers to rebrand my website and change the entire theme and get it and give it a lot of revamp. I found that I couldn't find a person to execute that exactly the way I wanted, so I ended up doing it myself, and I've upgraded my website. I've posted like 6 posts or something, and this has been done after a gap of like 5 years. So you can imagine, I think I really invested so much of my time into that. The next thing I did was to set up my newsletter, which had been ignored for quite some years now. I had to migrate to another server and then established all my subscribers into that newsletter, and I have sent them out, I think 3 or 4 newsletters right now in the last 6 months. So that's a really great achievement in terms of what I have done for this website compared to what I've been doing for the last 3 years, which was nil for that website. So I'm really happy with where I stand. For my YouTube channel, again, I outsourced the YouTube editing, and again, there's been a bit of back and forth to find a really good editor, so that's something I'm still struggling with, but I've tried to outsource the editing and engage another person to do much of. The second thing I actively did was to analyze each of the videos I've been doing and try to churn out a different type of videos and different type of content to see what the audience likes. So personally, I feel I can make videos on several aspects because I'm just interested in many things, but I also want to see what you guys like from me, and I think I've found that soft spot of what I want to do and what they like, kind of overlapping area, and I think that's the progress I am really proud of about this YouTube channel. So looking at what I want to do in the next 6 months, for my blog, I think I'm okay. The foundation is done. I just have to set up a system to keep things going. For my YouTube, again, everything is set. I just need to make sure that the system is running in place. What worked is that outsourcing my editing really saved a lot of time for me. I thought I was the only one capable of doing exactly what I wanted, but really I feel like it's okay to have an imperfect video because the content is mine. The editing could be a little bit shoddy and not as perfect. So I think I'm okay with that. An editor needs time to get used to the editing style and upgrade themselves. So I think I want to continue outsourcing my video editing so that I can make more time. And I also am thinking of reducing the number of videos I post. I do 1 video per week now, and I want to reduce that to 1 video per 2 weeks. I want to have a fine balance of time between different tasks. So I want to focus on my career, and I also have several other goals that I want to focus on. I'll talk about it later. And I think that this hobby section is taking way too much of my time than I would like it to, so I want to reduce that, and the only way is to reduce the amount of content I post. So that's something I want to do for the next 6 months. Reduce the time I spend on the hobbies. That is through outsourcing my editing and also reducing the frequency of my videos. The next category I have is finance, and I had set myself a goal to be more financially aware and more financially secure. Now this is an interesting goal because every single year I've had this goal, and every single year I've considered myself having not achieved this goal, probably because I did not set myself these sub targets within this goal to say that if you've done these, you have achieved this goal. And I always feel when it comes to money, I'm not very good at it. I don't know if it's the case with everyone or if it's just me, but this year I'll tell you what I've done. And when I say what I've done, we've already done all of these back in India, and we recently moved to the UK, so we had to literally just start from scratch. So we started building our emergency fund. So we've created a savings account, and we've started transferring money on a recurring basis into that for our emergency fund. The second thing we did was to set up our investment account and put money in ISA. The third thing we did was to start an expense tracker and categorize each of the expense based on needs and wants and entertainment. I think these are the basic fundamentals of personal finance, and I've done that right. I've also been caught up in renewing my term insurance back in India. I forgot to pay the premium last year, and now I've been struggling for more than 6 months to get it reinstated. I don't know why it's taking so much time, but then being here and then contacting India to get that renewed, it's such a nightmare. 7 months I'm struggling to do that, and I've still not gotten that done, but I'm behind that. So that's something I need to focus on for the rest of the year and get my term insurance reinstated. The second thing I need to do for the rest of the year is to set up my credit card. So credit score is something very important in the UK. If you want to buy something, borrow money, take a mortgage, it's all based on your credit score. And I was not eligible to get a credit card because my credit score was not good enough. That's probably because we took a loan for our vehicle very early on, so probably because of that loan my score was not that high. So now I'm eligible for a credit card, and I need to apply for one and work upon that. So that's something I've kept for the rest of the year: credit card, and then reinstate my term insurance. And the third one is to continue with that expense tracker. I set that up in the beginning of the year, and I did the workout for probably 2 months or 3 months, and then I haven't. So something I want to do on a long-term basis is to track my expense and also make sure that whatever is there for the entertainment, travel category, I spend that. I feel so guilty when I spend because I don't know how much I've allocated. I haven't allocated the money for myself. So I just feel like even if I spend less, I'm just spending. So I want to make sure that this is something I can spend, and as long as I'm within that budget, I should be happy to spend money on myself or family, be it travel, eating outside. So that's something I want to look forward for the rest of the year. And the best way for me to do that is to schedule a particular date and time every month to do that expense tracker, something that's in my mind right now. That's something I'm going to do right after this video. The last category of goal is again something that keeps repeating every year for me. That is focus on health and fitness. And I keep it way too generic every single year. I have no way of measuring what I've done. So I kind of feel I've done nothing in this aspect every single year. Well, this year, what I have done so far is I've tried every single activity that I thought would work for me. And I've kind of finally understood what would work for me. So that's a great achievement in terms of 6 months. I tried Zumba. I tried getting into a gym. I tried Dance with Deepti, and I've tried Pilates. These were the 4 things I wanted to try, and now I know that none of these work except for the Pilates. So I follow this Pyo workout by Shalene Johnson, I think. Shalene Johnson. It's from beachbody.com. It's a really old one. I followed it way back after my pregnancy, and I got my body toned so well. So that's something I know worked for me, and I tried it. It even works for me now, but the rest of them, they don't work for me. I'm more of a low impact workout kind of person who wants to work out within the comfort of my home. So I think this is something that fits well with my life and my lifestyle and what I want to do. What I didn't do was really based on my experience with the gym. So when I said I tried out all of these, I went to a gym for a personal group session. I went for 1 single day to that gym. My body was so drained of energy. My body was so sore for the rest 2 weeks. I think it kind of created a mental trauma for me, and I did not work out at all after that. I think my body was so bad. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't get downstairs. I was literally crawling the stairs up, on 4 legs. It was that bad. And I think after that, I never started working out because I just felt like I don't want my body to go through that again. I wish I had done some kind of mild workout instead of just stopping altogether. So the next 6 months, I want to focus on doing milder workouts, and the way forward for me would be to schedule a really light workout but a consistent one. So I want to put out a calendar where I mark out that at least 3 times a week I'm just going to finish 5,000 steps. I know it's very low, but something I want to make sure I do. So 5,000 steps every week, and then at least 2 days I want to do low impact workout. That is the PIO. So that's more of a strength training sort of workout. So that's my goal. Simple, clean, and that's all. So the backup plan is that if at all I am unable to do the exercise, I would still go for the 5,000 steps, so that, you know, I have some kind of movement every single day. This I want to be consistent, irrespective of no matter what happens for the next 6 months. That's the goal for my fitness. That was my 6 months in a nutshell. I want to spend a couple of minutes just to put out my, you know, general thoughts about goal setting and what I really felt this year. One is that time is the biggest constraint when it comes to everything. And I have felt that when I set some goals, I set it on a daily basis. I make sure that I do all of the goal every single day, but I think it is very crucial that you split them across the year. So maybe I would probably work better if I focus on my health for the first 1 month and then make a routine for that, and then focus on the hobby on the 3rd month and then get the routine set. I feel like I get overwhelmed when I take all the 5 goals all together in the first month. Focusing on all of them every single day makes me a bit overwhelmed. Something I should have thought about is that I should probably keep a month focusing solely on one goal while keeping the rest of the goals in sustenance mode, just doing bare minimum, but focusing all my energy on one single goal. Probably something I want to try out for the next couple of months. Starting with my health and fitness, I want to focus. The month of August is going to be super focused on health and fitness. I've heard that 21 days is the minimum for you to get something into a habit. So I'm going to dedicate 21 days for my health and fitness in August, so that September, October, I would be in a routine with respect to health and fitness, so that I can focus on another goal to set a system for the rest of the goal for the rest of the month. Maybe something I want to try. The second thing I really understood is that it is okay to drop some goals. All of these goals are things I don't like doing, to be honest, except for, say, career and the hobbies. The rest of the goals is something that somebody needs to push me so hard to achieve. So I know that, and I think that's what makes it difficult for me to work on. So I feel that probably I should have 2 categories of goals. One, easy goals, and the second, difficult goals. And I need to focus on the difficult goals as such. Without such a categorization, I always tend to push the health and fitness, finance kind of, boring goals to the next year and the next year. And I've lived 34 years already and I've not done much in that section. So, but for the rest of the 6 months, I've already decided what I want to do. Maybe for 2025, I'll set some different way of goal categorization. Let's see how it goes then. Well, so that was it about today's video. I hope you like this, and do tell me in the comments below what were your goals and how much have you achieved and how much you haven't. Even if you haven't had any goals, don't worry. I love having a life without goals. I've had several years without goals and I was happy. It is just that I've been in several years without goals and I just felt like I need to have something to look forward to, and I really like how it is going so far. So probably once all of these 5 goals that I've had gets put into a system, then I would think of having several years without much goals. Well, so that's it for today's video. Until we meet with another video, it's bye bye and take care from me, Angela.